Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So I wish to continue our subject NMJ 31603 Management for Engineers. So we have completed our lecture on PM01 Project Management 01 and also Project Management 03. So today I'm going to lecture on PM03, which is establishing project schedules. So in this chapter, it includes chapter 3, which is planning the project, and also chapter 4, budgeting the project. So based on our planning, so the assignment will be given based on PM03 by the project coordinator. So it will be based on this chapter 3 and also chapter 4, planning project, and also budgeting the project. So what is planning? So in order to plan for something, or to perform any task, any project, we should have a proper planning. So something like a plan to trap an animal, right? So this is like the basic title called a plan is a trap to capture the something or a animal. So the content of this lecture or this PM Project Management 03 will include some information on the importance of good planning, and also what are the important content of any project plan documentation, and also the planning process itself, such as the kick-off meeting, where before you begin the project, you shall launch and to make known about your project to the stakeholders and also to your team members. And within the planning process also, in order to properly plan, there is one method called work breakdown structure, which will be used to plan how your project will be executed, and it is based on the work which include in your project. And also on the planning process also, there should be a project action plan where you have to figure out all the action, all the task in the project. Some of the methods on project planning, especially on the how do you give tasks, or how do you arrange various tasks to your team members, right? So it's called linear responsibility chart. So you will have a chart called LRC to identify or to map all the responsibility to each member of the project, and also on how can you deal with all multidisciplinary teams. So remember project cycle life. Alright, so we start with the initiation where you initiate the project that you wish to implement, right? And then you plan for the project. This is a very detailed planning activities. Once everything has been cleared, you can execute And then once all the deliverables or the outputs necessary or planned in the project has been achieved, then you can close the project. Okay. Why it is very important to have a good planning? There are two extreme methods where they call it ready, fire, and aim. So it's quite straightforward. You just like this photo, you make sure you are ready, point the gun, and then you are ready to identify what you want to shoot. In this case, birds. So you just fire, aim. Or it could be either ready, aim, fire, or ready, fire, aim. So these are two good planning strategy. Another one is paralysis by analysis. Sometimes you thinking of how to plan the project, and then you are expecting to have a very perfect project planning, but at the end you are unable to decide or finalize the project planning. So you just keep keep doing the planning without finalizing the planning. So this is called situation where they call it paralysis by analysis. You perform lots of analysis, but you are unable to finalize the plan. So this is not good. So the importance of a good planning is necessary in any project planning. So the reason is if any problems arise during project implementation, this is normally due to not properly planned project, where you have not identified any problem, or you not plan for the particular problem to happen. So at the end you will not be able to complete the project that you want to implement. And also the importance of good planning is due to the reason is that senior management or the project manager or the project team are impatient. So sometimes some of these individuals think that the projects is simple, can be done immediately. So this project planning will at least make them understand that some of the project implementation is not as easy as they think. So it will make sure that all the stakeholders will not just simply implement the project without a proper planning, because if it's not been properly planned, if any problem occur, then the team members are not ready, and it will cause the project to be delayed. And sometimes also the planning can be overdone. Too much planning, too much thinking. So this condition is called paralysis by analysis. So somewhere in between the extreme is the happy medium that everyone would like to strike. So you have to be in between these two extreme condition of planning a project. This cartoon shows that how important is project planning. So this lady says, what would you like to know, sir? The future of your project. And he replied, yes, you are right, it's been many months and I am still struggling with the project delivery. I want to know where I'm going wrong in spite of doing everything right. And she replied that, well, I cannot say it has a bright future, But if you put a strong project management plan in place, your fortune may change for the better. So this just to show to you or to indicate to you that project management plan is important to make sure that you can deliver whatever that you plan to achieve in the project. In terms of content of project plan, there could be many items. These are some of the items you can have. You need to have the capacity plan, the human resources, the facilities, and of course the budget plan, the pilot plan, and all the necessary information which should include in a project planning. But again, the content of documents in the project plan, depending on types of project, the scale of the project, and the output of the project that you wish to implement. So, but the content of a project plan usually will include some of the important items. So normally before you would like to considering how to plan, then you should first of all identify the reason of you to implement the project. So you need to decide why you are planning and what information the plan should contain. And then of course the primary function of a project plan is to serve the project manager or the leader of the project as a map of the route from project start to finish. So it's important to have project plan so that the project manager are able to identify how the project should be executed within the project. And the plan should also contain sufficient information, okay, that at any time the project manager knows what's remaining to be done, when it should be done, when it should be completed, and with what resources or facilities or materials, and by whom should the task to be done or to be completed, and what are the deliverables or the output of the particular task should be included. So these are quite thorough or quite detailed content of project plan, which include documentation of all the necessity project plan. Number one is the overview of the project, what it's all about, objectives, general approach, how you're going to implement the project, if there's any contractual aspect, schedule, resource requirement, personnel, the resources, and also risk management, if there possible or potential problem that you will face during the implementation of the project, and of course the evaluation method of the overall project plan. So basically the content of overview in project plan is a description of what the project is all about, what are the deliverables or the outputs at the end of the project, and of course the milestone. Sometimes they call it deliverables or some milestone, or basically the output at a specific time, because in project you have many tasks. So each task, what are you expecting it to produce? So it is called the milestone. And it could be the expected profitability and the competitive impact of the particular project, whether this project are able to produce any profits and also any advantage that you can use for your businesses, right? And of course, the overview are intended for the senior management to understand on the project that you're going to execute. And of course, the objective contain the detailed description of project deliverables, the outputs, and of course the project mission statement. What are the missions of this project usually include in the objectives. So for the general approach, this is more the content is more on the technical and managerial approaches on how you're going to manage the project, and as well as what are the technical capabilities or facilities or human skills that are required to making sure that the project can be implemented successfully. And also information regarding what are the relationship of this project to other project, whether this is new project or this is a continuation of the previous projects, and so on. So it will reflect the approach of the project briefly. And also if there's any deviation from standard practices that you're going to implement in the project, then they should be included in this general approach, just in case if you are using a new material, a new process, so it should be explained in this section. And the fourth one, the fourth content of a project plan includes a contractual aspect or any agreements with the client or any third parties involved. And also it should also include the reporting requirements. For example, the progress report need to be submitted at which date. So this should be it's like a contract actual work that you have to comply within the project implementation. And of course the content of technical specification that you're going to use for this particular project, especially when it's come to the end product or any specification that you must fulfill in order for you to execute this project successfully. And there should be a number of dates which will be used to review the project according to your milestone. So these are some of the things that you have to put into, which is important for the client or anybody involved in this particular project. The fifth one, of course, the schedules. As mentioned, a project consists of the start and end, so it must be made clearly. The document of when it starts, when it's end, should be included in the schedules section to identify all the necessary activities and also the milestones of the project and the task. And then you should also include a resource requirement, estimated project expenses, of course, the cost, and also all other costs, whether it's fixed or the overhead, which will be used in the project. And the human resources, like the personnel, the special skill requirements, how many engineers you needed, how many assistant engineer or technicians is required for this particular project to be implemented. And if the project requires a specific skill or specific knowledge, then necessary training is required. So you need to put into the project plan documentation what are the trainings required in order to implement this project. And some workers, you might need to request for work permit, especially if it's involve foreign workers. So this should be needed to clearly indicated in the documentation of the project plan on the legal requirements for the personnel who are going to involve in the project. It should also include risk management on what are the potential major and minor problems that could occur during the execution of the planning, so that you are able to solve the problem if it's occur, in order to make sure that the project can be completed within the time period that you have planned. And it also include all the contingency plans to resolve any issues, any problems during the project implementations. And it should also include the evaluation methods on how you're going to evaluate the output of the projects, and also how you're going to evaluate some of the procedures and some of the standards out of the project outputs that you're going to produce, and also some of the procedures for monitoring, collecting and storing data on a project performance. So this will be used to monitor the project implementations during the executions. So all of the plan content listed before or above are necessary, especially for large or non-routine projects such as a major software development project. So in order for you to implement such a big, huge project, so most of the information or documentation I mentioned earlier should be included. If you are implementing a small project or just a routine project, some of the information might not be needed. So it's depending on the project that you're going to implement. Specific items such as task schedules, resource, personnel needs, and scheduling are needed for any project, large or small, or routine or not. So these are the things which are compulsory, whether it is small or large project, or whether it's routine or not, which are the task schedule, okay, how you're going to implement, the date of the implementation, how long does it take, and the resources, what kind of facilities, what kind of software or hardware needed for the implementation of the project, who's involved, and also these three things are required with whatever scale of the project that you're going to implement. Indeed, even if the project is both small and routine, contractual agreement is also needed if the project involves consultation or external consultant. You need somebody from outside of your company to give advice on this particular project. So these are the things that you have to be aware when you're planning for a project. So and of course, in planning of a project, the planning process is very important. So you should be able to actually develop and evaluate the concept of the project, and decide if getting such a deliverable is worthwhile. If so, you should continue the project. So this is some basic requirement for you to making sure that the project that you going to implement is worth or not. And of course, you should carefully identify and spell out the actual capabilities that the project's deliverable. What are the capabilities that you're going to produce out of this project? by create such a system or product or services, which is to say build a prototype deliverable, and should be include how you're going to test the prototype on having the desired capabilities. So if necessary, you can cycle back to step 3 to modify the prototype and retest. So you should develop, and then you identify. Once you create, you should test the system based on the requirement. So if the system or product that you have created does not fulfill the requirement, you should continue do some modification of the product or the service. So this should be clearly implemented in the planning process. And of course, if it include integration of some of the outputs or the deliverables into the system, should be done appropriately. And you should be also validate the deliverable, whether it works properly or necessary or not. If not, you need to do more modification and testing of the product or the system that you have produced. Once the deliverable has been validated, the output or the system, let the client to test it, right? Whether the client are able to operate the system successfully and fulfill the client requirement. So if not, you need to improve and make necessary modification. So present to the client with written copy of maintenance and operating instruction, and also you should be able to give the client the bill, and that's the end of execution of the project once the client is happy. So if any product that you have produced, they should also it should also comes with the operation instruction on how to use the product, on how to operate the product to the customer. So these are tasks as a project manager in terms of how you're going to planning for your project. First of all, of course, it involves the launch or kickoff meeting. So usually you will set up the first launching of the project through the kickoff meeting, and then you should list down or work on the work breakdown structure of the particular project based on the work that you're going to use. And then of course identify the budget, and of course plan for the schedule, and then allocate all the necessary resources, human skills, the machinery, the facilities, which is important for the project, and then implementation, and of course lastly the monitoring system that you're going to use for your project. And of course, if you are elected as a project manager or the leader of the project, so you should be able to understand the expectation that the organization has for the project. So of course, the expectation of the organization that asks you to be the project manager is very high. So it's very important to know the level of importance of the project. So you have to take it into a serious matter in order to fulfill the project. And you should identify among who are the senior managers has a major interest in the project, whether it is by the president or is this by the other manager, section manager, who selected you to implement this project. So you should identify why this is very important, because because you need to report the successful of the project from time to time, and then you need to know who have the most interest of this particular project, so that you will have a full support, or you can request for any helps or any suggestion from the senior managers. And then you should determine if anything about the project is a typical project of the same general kind, and then preparing an invitation list for the project launch meeting. So again, this is very important to identify who should be available, who should attend the kickoff meeting of this project. So you will ask the senior managers who have a major interest in the project. So basically, in kickoff meeting, invitation list should have at least one representative from the senior management. Not necessarily the president of the company. It can be any one of the branch manager, which I mentioned earlier, who has a major interest in this project. Especially the managers from functional areas that will contribute to the project. And also you can include in the kickoff meeting the client side, if it's required, right? The client side, that means who have the most interest, who will benefit the project output. So you will include them in the invitation list to inform them the plan of your project implementation. So usually you will introduce the senior management. In this case, we will introduce you as a project manager, and then later on, project manager will chair meeting, because you are the leaders, and should be used. The meeting should be used to develop general understanding of the functional inputs the project will need or required, and you may also brainstorm what are the possible problems that will occur during the project implementation. And you might also discuss with your team members on whether you need to develop any preliminary plan for the particular project. So the important results of the kickoff meeting is to understand some of the scope of the project, and then what are the functions, managers, and making sure that they understand their responsibilities, and also to get their commitment in the implementation of this particular project. So these are one of the video that is very sometimes it happen in an organization between the technical expertise, the senior manager, on how they decide whether the project can be implemented or not. So let's see if we can have a look at this video.
Strategic initiative to increase market penetration, maximize brand loyalty, and enhance intangible assets. In pursuit of these objectives, we've started a new project for which we require 7 red lines. I understand your company can help us in this matter.
Of course. Walter here will be the project manager. Walter, we can do this, can't we?
Yes, of course. Anderson here is our expert in all matters related to the drawing of red lines. We've brought him along today to share his professional
Nice to meet you. Well, you all know me. This is Justine, our company's design specialist. Hello. We need you to draw 7 red lines, all of them strictly perpendicular. Some with green ink and some with transparent. Can you do that?
No, I'm afraid.
Let's not rush into any hasty answers, Anderson. The task has been set and needs to be carried out. At the end of the day, you are an expert.
The term red line implies the color of the line to be red. To draw a red line with green ink is, well, if it's not exactly impossible, it's pretty close to being impossible.
What does that even mean? Impossible.
I mean, it is possible. There are some people, say, suffering from color blindness, for whom the color of the lines doesn't really make a difference. But I'm quite sure that the target audience of your project doesn't consist solely of such people.
So in principle, this is possible.
I'll simplify. A line as such can be drawn with absolutely any ink, but if you want to get a red line, you need to use red ink. What if we draw them with blue ink? It still won't work. If you use blue ink, you'll get blue lines. And what exactly did you mean when you talked about the transparent ink?
How to better explain? I'm sure you know what transparent means.
And yes, I do.
And what a red line means. I hope I don't need to explain to you.
Of course not.
But you need to draw a red line with transparent ink.
Could you describe what you imagine the end result would look like?
Come on, Anderson, what have we got here? Kindergarten?
No, I'm just trying to get a...
Let's not waste our time with these unproductive quarrels. The task has been set, the task is plain and clear. Now, if you have any specific questions, then go ahead.
You're the expert here.
All right, let's leave aside the color for the moment. You had something there also relating to perpendicularity.
7 lines, all strictly perpendicular.
To what?
To everything amongst themselves. I assumed you know what perpendicular lines are like.
Of course he does. He's an expert.
2 lines can be perpendicular. All 7 can be simultaneously perpendicular to each other. I'll show you. This is a line, right?
Yes.
And another, is it perpendicular to the first line?
Well,
Yes, it is perpendicular.
exactly.
Wait, I'm not done. And a third one, is it perpendicular to the first line? Yes, it is. But it doesn't cross the second line. They're both parallel. Not perpendicular.
Suppose so.
There it is. 2 lines can be perpendicular.
Can I have the pen? How about this?
This is a triangle. It's definitely not perpendicular lines. And there are 3, not 7.
Why are they blue?
Indeed, I wanted to ask that myself.
I have a blue pen with me. This was just a demonstration.
That's the problem. Your lines are blue. Draw them with red ink.
It won't solve the problem.
Well, how do you know before you've tried? Let's draw them with red ink, then let's see.
I don't have a red pen with me, but I'm completely certain that with red ink, the result will still be the same.
But didn't you tell us earlier that you could only draw red lines with red ink? In fact, yes, I've written that down here. And now you want to draw them with blue ink. Do you want us to call these red lines?
I think I understand. You're not talking about the color now, right? You're talking about that what do you call it?
Perpendicularity, yes!
That's it. Now you've confused everyone. So what exactly is stopping us from doing this?
Geometry.
Just ignore it.
We have a task. 7 red lines. It's not 20, it's just 7. Anderson, I understand you're a specialist of a narrow field. You don't see the overall picture. But surely it's not a difficult task to draw some 7 lines.
Exactly. Suggest a solution. Now, any fool can criticize. No offense. But you're an expert. You should know better.
Okay. Let me draw you 2 perfectly perpendicular red lines, and I will draw the rest with transparent ink. They'll be invisible, but I'll draw them.
Would this suit us? Yes, this will suit us. Yes, but at least a couple with green ink. Oh, and I have another question, if I may. Can you draw one of the lines in the form of a kitten?
What?
In the form of a kitten? Market research tells us our users like cute animals. It would be really great if we could...
No.
But why?
Look, I can of course draw you a cat. I'm no artist, but I can give it a try, but it won't be a lion anymore, it'll be a cat. A lion and a cat, these are two different things.
A kitten. Not a cat, but a kitten. They're little, cute, cuddly. Cats, on the other hand,
It won't make a difference.
Anderson, at least hear her out. She hasn't even finished speaking and you're already saying no.
I got the idea, but it's impossible to draw a line in the form of a cat.
What about a bird?
So, where do we stop? What are we doing?
7 red lines, 2 with red ink, 2 with green ink, and the rest will be transparent. Did I understand correctly?
Yes.
Excellent. In which case, that's everything, right?
Oh, I almost forgot. We also have a red balloon. Do you know if you could inflate it?
What do I have to do with balloons?
It's red.
Anderson, can you or can you not do this? A simple question.
As such, I can, of course, but...
Excellent. Organize a business trip. We'll cover the expenses, go over to their location, inflate the balloon. Well, this is very productive. Thank you all.
Can I ask you one more question, please? When you inflate the balloon, could you do it in the form of a kitten?
Of course I can. I can do anything. I can do absolutely anything. I'm an expert.
Okay, so basically these are some of the dilemma that you will face during discussion of any project implementation. So the client would like to have 7 red lines to be drawn perpendicularly, so which is impossible to be implemented. Maybe this is how it looks like: 7 lines of 7 red lines perpendicular to each other. So I say this is how it looks, but it doesn't look like how the 7 red line can be drawn perpendicularly. So however, it is just an example on how the discussion between the boss, the technical expert, the client, and also the other team members. So what is your observation of the project discussion? Of course, number one, it looks like the request by the client is not very clear whether it can be done or not, right? So so different understanding on the project objectives between the boss or your senior manager, and also you and the client. So the expert team members doesn't think it can be done. Of course, the 7 red line is quite impossible to be done. But whether is he telling the truth or something else? So the senior manager might don't have any idea that it cannot be implemented. Or maybe it can. So this is just an example of situation where they're discussing about the project. And of course, if we look at the project manager or the boss, right, he desperately wants the project to be implemented as soon as possible. Maybe because he needs the project and he needs the money. However, if we look at it, do you think this project will fail or will it succeed? So there are 2 ways to do this. Either you accept the project titled 7 red lines, or later on you can discuss, you can negotiate with your client on what he or she expected out of this project. So you know, sometimes when you work also, when you have a boss, he will ask you to do anything, and because you are working at that place, you have to fulfill the instruction of your boss or manager. Sometimes you have to say yes, you can do this, but of course with some modification. So another issues is regarding the communication gap between business people and also technical people, where of course the boss will assume anything can be done, because of course the boss is always think about the businesses, the profit that it can be profit that it will receive, and also so lots of issues of example of this. It can happen in real life as well, right? So basically this is a video is a metaphor to the client problems to be solved. So in this situation, usually if you are the technical person or the team members, on how you can do this, right? There are a few ways. Either you will say obey the boss, okay, I'll do it, and you make the client happy, say okay, this can be done, just to make people happy, of course, right? So you can do that, but in order, it cannot be done, but you should be able to find ways to solve this problem. Maybe you need to negotiate, talk with the client what actually she wants, regarding 7 red lines perpendicular to each other. So you can always discuss with the client to make her or him happy on the solution that you're going to introduce to her. So that is one of the example happen. So communication skills, the technical expertise that you requires to make sure that the project can be implemented. So all of these things need to be put into perspective to all the project manager, the team members. So the next we will talk about the planning for a project, on how you're going to organize the structure of the team members, who's will involve, and what are the tasks required for the particular project, and lastly the duration, how long it will take to do this project, and the task involved. So with that, I will see you in the next lecture. So until then, see you soon, and hope you can watch these videos to be able to understand on the project management. Thank you very much.